The roads aren't even nice. Like, get it together.
Ours are.
Yours are nice in Atlanta.
Atlanta has
our roads in St. Well,
Atlanta
actually, if you're out in the suburbs of St. Louis, like the roads are nice. It's like if I go to a Blues game, it looks like a Ukraine war zone.
I'm sorry.
I travel a bunch. The states that have better climates have better roads, and I think that's a huge part of it.
You're so right. It's the salting and the freezing. If you have multiple freezes, if they ever have to scrape and if they ever have to salt, you have a completely different playing field, and it's not fair from anybody in Texas to say shit. Texas ought to have better roads. I'll say this: there's some parts of Texas, it's pristine. It's like y'all spent so much money on this highway. There's not even enough people out here to justify this. Thank you so much. Like, I felt appreciative at times. Nice. You know, when you change from like rough road to that smooth black asphalt, and it just goes. Like the car gets quieter and smoother. That's what Texas highways are like sometimes. Like maybe not when it's when you're going through when you're going through like refinery country and you see like the burners like burning the exhaust fumes at night. Those aren't the good roads, all right? That's not what I'm talking about. But like out where you need a brush guard to make sure the deer doesn't kill you and your family, so you gotta splatter them bitches. Those are some nice ass 2-lane roads.
You know what else Texas has that's nice? And infrastructure and like, let's say the West, they're freight trains. Good God. So I learned about this recently. Freight trains used to be 5,000 feet long max because a huge part of freight train operations was moving coal, which is heavy. So they have these shorter 50-foot long, there's a word for the cart, but whatever, you know, the little cart. Now those carts went from 50 feet to like 200 feet on the big ones. And they're not moving coal, which is dense and heavy. They're moving like Amazon packages and shit like that, which is mostly air. So these trains went from 5,000 feet to 15,000 feet, nearly 3 miles long. And they blew my mind when I waited like minutes and minutes and minutes for them to go by. Like, I'm putting my kickstand down, turning off the engine, and just watching train for a while because there's nothing else I'm going to do. They're so long. They're so huge. But oh, and by the way, they're double stacked. Like you picture a train with a freaking shipping crate on it. 2 shipping crates. They're double tall. And I'm trying to like roughly turn out an estimate of how many semis are not on the road because of this train. This train, is it 700? Is it 1,000 semis it prevented from going from one place to another? It's huge.
Well, the thing you need to consider is that where that arrives, there are thousands of trucks.
Yeah, distribution centers.
Like,
but
it's arriving at a DC.
But nonetheless, it's a lot more efficient in every single way than
just
having
pushes those trucks into a metro area
where they belong.
No, it's 100% more efficient. I'm just joking around. Like, trains are cool, and we need more trains. And I always see shit about like, oh, Europe has all these trains, dude. Fucking look at the size of France. Like, that's like. Get real. Like, if our whole country was the size of Montana, we'd have like some pretty robust
Taylor, let's pretend that our audience is stupid. How big is France? Like,
it's
for them.
Is it even
how many states
as big as Texas?
I have in my head
I think it's larger than Texas.
No, it's definitely not as big as Texas. All right, here's my guess.
Wow, one of us is right.
Hang on, I want to guess. And I'm gonna use states to like describe how big it is. My take is, and I could be wrong here, I think that France is smaller than Florida. I'm going with Texas, Oklahoma combined. All right. Woody thinks that France is gigantic. One of the biggest countries on the planet. All right, Taylor.
I think that Texas is, now that you said I think that it is about 3/4 the size of Texas. Not quite as big as Texas.
Oh, I've won so easily. Jack, show us how big France is. Fuck! It's huge.
I win. No, wow. Damn. Fuck. Yes. No.
I feel like I think
it's
Taylor's
so big.
Right. I'm seeing about 3/4 Texas, maybe slightly more, but certainly not throwing Oklahoma.
What's the percentage? What's the percentage of size? Zach,
it looks like exactly what you said.
Oh, he says about the same.
Okay, it's actually about the same because you got all those overlapping parts. It looks like Texas is a bit bigger. Texas is definitely bigger. I did not think
it was that big. Yeah, we just don't know shit. Well,
oh wait, I'm looking at the words on the side. Does it tell us?
Oh, it's like economic status, diversity. I don't care about that. Give me like better
current
numbers.
land governed in square miles there, 248,000 square miles.
And 268 for Texas. Yeah. So more, call them pretty close. Okay.
It's incredibly close. Wow.
Okay.
I thought it was so much smaller than that.
There was a point when Kyle
million.
out. Okay, everyone, remember this. Woody thinks France is very large. I'm like, I still do though.
Now it's definitely way bigger than Florida.
It's way bigger than
Texas. Is that? Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong about how big Florida.
Are you thinking of Italy?
Show me in Florida.
You might be thinking of maybe economically it's comparable to Florida.
No, I'm picturing it on a map. I'm just wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet France's economy is bigger than any of our individual states.
I would beg to differ there as well. I would beg to differ there.
This is fun. Okay, so
all right. I want to do California's GDP is bigger than France's.
I say
all right. That's an easy one. You are 1,000% right on that.
Okay.
I know that California's GDP is smaller than Germany's. And that France is the second largest economy in the EU. So I'm gonna say France is still above California. I'm gonna say it. Give us the answers, Zach. I can't wait.
I think it's the same page you had up. We'll have GDP numbers.
Damn, I hope I'm a genius twice.
I would think California is ahead. I would side with Woody on this one. I would think California is ahead of France.
But I know Germany has a bigger economy than California. And so that's an EU country, but how much bigger is Germany's economy than France? Germany's very good at work and like keeping things on time, and like if they could just get past a couple things, like we should really
them get back to this point
because they're fucking good at organizing shit. How long does it take them after every world war to be like, oh, is everyone still trying to pick up the pieces? Oh, do you need to buy like some electronics or something? Like this is a little embarrassing. We lost and we're doing great. Like
did we rebuild like the parts of like Germany or I guess East Germany that did we rebuild that for them? Did we like
no, they did it.
Did we fund it somehow with like interest free loans?
I do know this. I do know that
they weren't doing well. Like how do they okay, everyone, gather round. Get the cement, yeah.
Zach, where are we gonna get our GDP numbers? Do you need?
I need the
look
fucking
it up?
GDP numbers. Okay, I can.
After the First World War, let's see. France's GDP is bigger than New York, Florida, and Texas, but not California.
Right, go back and remove that.
All right.
edit out the part where Taylor's wrong.
If you can remove that part where I thought that Florida was bigger than France.
Oh, that's funny.
That'd be swell. That's the dumbest thing I've said in a coon.
Hey, I was fucking close.
Oh, I thought about that. So my water line still.
California's annual GDP is about 2.8 trillion, which is roughly the same as France's GDP of about 2.9 trillion.
Wait, so did you say you're right?
Wait.
The Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency says economic data from 229 countries tracked by the U.S. Department of Commerce Bureau of Economic Analysis and the CIA World Fact Book were compared to countries with GDPs of the same sizes as GDP of the United States. California's annual GDP is about 2.8 trillion, which is roughly the same size as France's GDP of about 2.9 trillion.
What? You won by 0.1 trillion?
I'm a genius.
That's neck and neck.
I'm a genius, just an absolute genius. just a genius guesser. See, you can tell the link's real because it doesn't even include the last part. I trust the
Koreans.org.
It's literally look.org. That's science. That's fact. Taylor's opinions. Yeah. Dot fun. Yeah.
I think this is a Taylor's house URL.
No, you can't prove
I'm not
this.
buying it.
No, man, that is so awesome that this filled right into my agenda.
God damn it.
Does California have a bigger economy than France?
You don't think of the French as being productive, I think that's what it is. They
love cigarettes.
I've been watching a YouTube channel that they're so nitty gritty. I think there's something wrong with this guy. Basically, what they do is they look at all of the video out of Ukraine, and this guy is like tracking the M67 hand grenades from Canada and the US that had been shipped to the Ukraine, and he's talking about you can see the batch number if you look closely here in his hand. These came from Canada. Oh, and here, this batch number is the second known batch number. These are U.S. M67s, and if you look here, they're cited as 25,000 of them being shipped on April 17th. And he's like tracking all this stuff. And then he got to the French hand grenade. The French hand grenade was beautiful. The French hand grenade, like the pin was like anodized and mirrored a little bit, and like the grenade
just
body,
looked great.
it was shiny, and like the American grenade looks like a. First of all, it's an older grenade that we don't use anymore. It's the M67 baseball grenade. If you know from Tarkov, it's the one with a very long fuse, very round and baseball like 5-second fuse. Essentially, they're old Vietnam era grenades.
I thought they were football shaped and kind of waffle on the outside. Am I describing?
That is a different kind of hand grenade that's and that's more like an F1 that you're describing, I think. But nonetheless, the M67 is like a round baseball grenade, and that's what they're sending them in huge quantities. But then the French thing had like this shiny, mirrory, anodized spoon, and the whole thing was like olive green, but with a little lacquer on it. So ours was just flat and dull, and it kills people.
Boring.
And theirs was like kill people with style. It was just a little bit nicer.
I mean, the French know food really well. I would put like definitely behind Italy. Italy's number one in Europe of food. Italy may be number one in the world for food, as far as just total amount of variety.
The Chinese invented pizza, right?
I mean, who would give a shit? Like the Italians
and pasta
perfected it.
And pasta. Like what did you people even come up with?
Honestly,
you Italian people.
I'm not Italian. I'm not an actual Italian. I'm an American mutt
with your Dago mustache,
Dago mustache, and your
greasy hair.
I
do have very greasy hair.
I like American food. When I leave America, it's all carbs.
Describe American food.
American food is meat heavy, and sometimes just meat on a plate. I like that. When I go to Mexico, oh my God, it's just a bunch of fucking carbs. Like, oh, do you want like gravy on rice with some sort of bread to scoop it up and a rumor
beans.
About chicken? Yeah, beans.
You know why, right? It's because
Poverty,
most of the world can't afford meat, and most of the world gets their protein from chickpeas and shit. Because
when you go to Japan, it's like rice heavy, some sort of bread heavy, and then a meat that you don't like fucking goose or something like that. Like it's
they eat a
greasy,
ton of fish.
Oh, they eat a lot of duck. Unfortunately, I do not like
duck. Is great, man. You really don't like duck?
I might have been prepared poorly.
I need to have well prepared duck. I've only had like scrub duck, but I'll. Here's the thing: when I go to a nice restaurant, it's like, man, am I gonna risk it with the $95 duck?
Yeah, or am I gonna biscuit?
Or am I gonna get that steak that they've had hanging back there,
like Kyle.
for 6 weeks or whatever?
If they make their name on,
I mean, if I'm going to a Japanese place, I'm 100% getting sushi. Like, I'm not gonna order beef. If I go to a hibachi place and it's more of like everybody's ordering stuff at that hibachi stand, yeah, I'll get like beef or something spicy. But if I'm just going to a Japanese place, it's sushi, or actually better than that, sashimi, which is exactly what Woody said he liked, which is just slices of raw fish on a plate. There's no rice, there's wasabi, there's soy sauce,
like
and there's usually some you like nigiri more. I like them both.
Is it nigiri or is it nigiri? Because I just couldn't imagine a Japanese person saying nigiri.
I always said nigiri. I thought that's because jiri. I don't know. Maybe it is nigiri.
I think Taylor's coming off a little racist in this. You say,
I don't think so. I think I'm expressing my love for Japanese
culture.
Say
it, but with like a Mississippi accent.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I'm even hesitant to say vinegar with a southern accent. That's a risky place, folks. That's risky.
Each one of them. It doesn't work. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Well, really, nothing does with a southern accent.